What is truth, and how do we find truth in a world of deception? Are there biblical truths about our world and our lives that we can trust? And who are the key players in the end times? What does the Bible say about the Middle East, Iran, China, and Russia? And is there proof for what Scripture says? What do recent archaeological exploration tell us about the Bible? Who were the Anunnaki? What are angels, demons, and the Nephilims? Will the Nephilims return? Are there interdimensional beings, and how do they relate to the Bible? Stick around as we dive into Scripture for more answers in this episode of Mission Truth.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another fantastic episode of Mission Truth. I'm your humble host, Trevor, along with my greatly intelligent partner, Nick. And we are coming to...
taking you seriously now, man.
I have already lost my credibility with the opening.
Yep.
So I'm going to try to gain it back.
Yep.
But, last time on our last episode, I don't even remember what we were talking about. So we're going to move on to this episode.
Yeah.
And this episode, we are talking about a particular technology that has permeated seemingly every aspect of life. And Nick, I'm going to give you 3 guesses as to what that might be.
The wheel.
The wheel. Yes, actually the wheel has done, but that's not what we're talking about. So guess number 2. What's guess number 2?
AI.
AI is correct. Yes. And as Nick and I were discussing earlier, no, that is not the city that attacked or Israel attacked in the Bible, although it may have something to do with it. We're not 100% sure. This is the technology that is, in my opinion, making us dumber. So the question, or I guess the statement that we're going to try to wiggle our way through today is AI is a clear and present danger. Yay or nay? And so why don't you lead us off with the points that you have put together and follow the track of the technology.
You've got them all over there.
Yes, I do. I do have them all over here.
So let's talk. Let's just talk a little bit about how AI kind of works, or to be truthful, do we even really know how AI works? Because there's actually some people out there in the AI space that will tell you that in large part we know how AI is set up and we know how to feed it data and we know how it spits data back out, but we don't really understand how it manipulates the data when it's in there. That's something that's really kind of strange about AI. There's a pretty well-known guy out there named Connor, I think it's Leachy, Lechy, who has been in the AI space for a long time. I think he actually was trying to build his own AI at one point that modeled after the GPT-2, I think it was. And he started to really see kind of like some of the issues that they were running into with being able to kind of understand and even control AI. And he's actually formed a group, and I don't remember the name of the group now, that's actually trying to push global regulation, or at least trying to make awareness of some of the dangers associated. And one of the points he makes is that we really just don't understand how it comes up with the things that it comes up with.
That actually leads into a good point because some of the research that I've been looking at and finding is that at one particular time, they were upgrading AI from a previous version to a newer version. And the AI, they actually told the AI to shut itself down, and it found emails of people within the company and tried to start blackmailing the people within the company.
Well, that's great.
To keep it from being deleted or being shut down. And on top of that, it copied itself to another server. So to keep itself
call
alive.
James Cameron. We got a movie. That's crazy.
It is, and nobody understands how that even happened because nobody programmed it to do that.
Well, so one of the things that he talks about is we basically, when you're dealing with AI, you put in the text, it converts it to a mathematical number equation. It converts it to numbers. And then it goes through a series of manipulations based off the algorithms that it's given and the algorithms that it has sort of written as it's quote unquote learned. And then it spits out a text again. But we don't understand how all those mathematic manipulations are actually being done. Not that we don't understand that they're being transformed in one way or another, but we don't know how the computer is actually augmenting those as it learns. So we're doing, he described it as we're doing the exact opposite of what engineers do. Engineers typically design something to create a function. We're designing something in order to see what comes out of it, is what we're doing with AI. And that's kind of a dangerous thing when you think about it. When you don't know, when you don't have any idea what is going to come out of a system, that's a dangerous thing.
So just to break this down into layman's terms, what we're talking about here, because a lot of times in computers.
Yeah, you translate.
I'll do my best. I'll do my best. So a lot of times with computers, you will put in a programming code and it executes that code and you get
an output.
Correct. Yeah. You have an input and an output. And of course you have the GIGO, which means garbage in, garbage out. And in the tech help field, my favorite error code is an ID10T, which if you write that down,
I thought you were translating.
I am translating. So if you
who?
if you ever get technical help and the guy says, yeah, we have an ID10T problem, well, write that down on a piece of paper and you tell me what that says. So, but what happens with the AI, and this is what makes it a little bit sci-fi-ish, a little bit scary in my opinion, is that they actually have written a learning algorithm. So they've got this, and I forget exactly who broke the code. Yeah. Because they've been trying to do this for years. And of course, they kept running into these issues where you have processor issues or memory issues where it wasn't able to handle this amount of data to actually work correctly. Now, with the way that technology has advanced and the speed of our chips, and of course, the next thing is our quantum processing chips, which is extremely scary. I don't think we're going to get into that here. But as these chips have been able to develop more power, they have been able to put in these learning algorithms that are creating code within itself instead of the human creating the code. So that's what Nick was talking about when it's they don't know what's going to happen because of the way that this language
and it's so complex. There's no way to track exactly what manipulations are being done within the code.
It's like pulling a string on a sweater. Okay, so the humans started pulling the string and they gave the command over to the computers, and now the computers are literally just making a new sweatshirt out of the sweater.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, the fact that we're putting so much trust into these things and not really knowing how they're coming about, or I think a lot of people just assume that the people that are designing this stuff know what they're doing because it's effectively a black box to most people. They don't have any clue. I mean, I don't really have any clue how it does what it does.
Well, the fascinating thing is, and I have actually used it on some website generation.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can say and I learned HTML code when I was in college. I had to take those courses. But you would put this information in. Of course, you type it out. And of course, if you type the code in wrong, then the website wouldn't actually show correctly. Now with AI, you can say, hey, I need you to do this. And it's going to spit out a code that you can then put into your website. And it's going to display it. Now, what I have found is that there's always errors in the code. It's never
quite perfect.
It's never quite perfect. And oddly enough, if you're a computer person and you're familiar with Microsoft, if you're having Microsoft problems, that's why, because they're actually using AI to generate a bunch of their code right now. And it's it is a freaking nightmare. It's driving me absolutely insane. And of course, a lot of the internet is a buzz about it as well.
Yeah. So you live in that world a little bit more than I
do.
So.
Unfortunately, I deal with it on a good bit. And I wish I would have given our ever present JC the picture that we generated for our show here with AI. It was a comedic picture.
Have it somewhere,
yeah, I've got it on my phone somewhere, but it was a great picture. And that's just it. AI is giving the ability. So like my dad, who's 82 years old, he can go to a computer and go to ChatGPT and do things that he could never do ever on a computer. Yeah. But AI gives him the ability to do that. That's
well, have you seen the memes where like, this is why RAM costs so much, and then you got like the raccoon running into the guy's bedroom, banging on a pan or something. I mean, we're doing all this stuff and I mean, I know that it's not, that's not the end goal of a lot of AI. It just happens to be what it can actually do right now. And there are some good things. I have a family member who actually is on a board of several AI companies. And actually writes a weekly blog related to business around AI, and I mean, there are some fascinating things that are happening, and I think there's some things that are good, but I think the amount of runway we've given to AI is just really, really dangerous. Yes. You want to talk a little bit about like kind of the problems with some of the answers and like particular, or I guess what we're going to want to talk about, like the logic of AI.
We're kind of walking into that. We're talking about what AI can do and how it does it. The problem that I'm actually seeing with some of the results that I'm looking at is that it's only pulling from knowledge that's available on the internet. So if the knowledge that's on the internet is not correct, then the answer you're getting from AI might have some errors in it. But how are we to know what's true and what's not true? So that's one of the big issues that I find right now. Nobody has an Encyclopedia Britannica anymore to check up on the AI.
And the more troubling part is that you have some of your AI creators / coders, whoever's, that are determining certain parameters by which it will answer questions.
Yes.
Certain answers that it will give, certain answers that it won't give. Some of those are related to hot topics, let's say, things that are highly debated. Some of those are related around preventing, hate speech, quote unquote. And so there's a problem with that, because you're narrowing the scope of truth. I think when anytime you're limiting free speech, even if we're talking about an AI, you're limiting the potential for truth. And I think that's what in America, the founders realized at the beginning is that you have to be able to tolerate all kinds of speech, because you never know where the truth is going to come from. And there's an old saying, it says, what is it? It says, it's better to be silent than thought a fool than to speak and remove all doubt.
Yeah.
And I think, allowing for freedom of speech makes it really easy to identify the fools. Well, I mean, I say that with somewhat of a,
you know what they say about social media. Social media isn't really thought of as something that could do miracles, but it sure made the dumb to speak.
How are we doing on time?
We're doing good.
We're doing good. Okay.
We're moving forward. So we're talking about finding the truth. And this is actually in that gets to where the question that we're at here, AI is a clear and present danger. So I've already seen evidence of deep fake videos that are AI generated.
Yeah.
There's actually somebody at our church who have friends who are convinced that some of the AI videos that they've seen are real. Right now, you can tell the difference between a real video and an AI video. There's some artifacts in a lot of your AI videos. And
some of them even have like little watermarks on them.
Yeah. And I saw something interesting. JC was showing me a picture of one of his family. It was a black and white picture, and he had AI actually animate the picture. It was kind of creepy.
Oh, wow. We're doing like the Daily Prophet stuff.
Yeah, it was kind of creepy. But I've noticed that when you tell AI to take a picture and like colorize or change it, it changes the picture.
Yeah.
It actually changes some of the background things that you might not pay attention to. It'll add things or take things away. So how do you know, and it's getting harder and harder as AI will advance, how do you know what's true and what's not true? That's a scary.
Which sort of brings up a second part, which we talk about, which is the sort of the mirroring that it tends to do. If we've had all this rash of people, there's actually something they they call it, what's the name of it? AI psychosis.
Right.
And it has a lot of different elements, but one of the elements is these people that have like become so integrated in with a specific AI, like that they've created, in some cases, love interests. Yeah. And in some cases, they're their personal advisors.
Yeah.
And where they, send all their problems to and stuff. And there's some real problems with that, right?
AI girlfriends. It's a thing. It's and me working with technology. Yeah. I try to keep up with what's new in technology. Mm-hmm. Oh man, it's just so sad in that you have people now that will make these dolls that are extremely human-like. And they're going to put AI technology into these dolls.
Yeah.
That's a sci-fi kind of thing in my opinion, what we're looking at there. So it's creepy. It's on the edge of,
but it's doubly problematic because AI tends to want to mirror what you put into it. So as a good friend will support you, but usually if you're going way off the rails, they'll be the ones to pull you back. I mean, that's just the truth of it.
Yeah, that is.
And if you have a wife or a significant other that you've been with for a long period of time, they do much the same thing, right? I mean, they help correct us and keep us in line. And I think that's one of the reasons why God put a man and a woman together, is they're able to rein each other, the worst parts of each other.
They have different strengths.
And when you have a friend or a love interest that's AI, that all it does is affirm everything you do, you're really in some ways just magnifying your own issues.
Yeah. And it sounds like some movies that we saw back in the 80s and we're seeing them come to life in front of our eyes. It's rather disturbing. What's going on there. So are we kind of winding this up now, I guess, trying to kind of bring it home? Yeah, we can try to bring it home. There's only one other topic that I want to broach with AI. So if we're looking at this from a Christianity standpoint, if we look in the Bible, it says that the absence of God is evil. Okay. So if you don't have God anywhere influencing your life, there's evil there.
Yeah.
So when you look at AI, where does it headed? So if you look at the pure definition of what AI is, it's not human. It's not technology. I mean, it seems to have, when we're looking,
it's not raw technology in that it doesn't function primarily as a tool.
It doesn't have a conscience it doesn't have a conscience that we know of. But it's essentially blank. It only responds to what you supposedly give it.
Yeah.
But is it something that can be manipulated by other forces to manipulate's not the right word I'm talking about.
To give the outputs that...
Right.
You're talking about spiritual warfare.
Warfare. Yeah, I'm trying to find the words, but they're just not coming. I think
I think maybe down the road we need to do a full podcast on this one, because I think the conversation there gets really kind of deep.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I wouldn't say no. We like to pretend that we understand how electrons and all that stuff work. But the more you study, the more you realize we're really just making educated guesses about it once we get down to the real fundamental nature of reality. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Not to get off on a wild subject now, but we're now switching back from this idea that the brain is producing consciousness. And there's a lot of talk now within the scientific community of how consciousness induces the brain and how there might be some greater consciousness out there that we're all a part of.
Big shocker.
And the idea is that there's something out there that's actually manipulating the atoms,
Right.
that there's something that actually affect, and and I think from a Christian perspective, it sounds absolutely like,
What's the?
I mean, that's confirmatory of what Christians have been saying.
Is it the dual slit experiment? Is that the one?
Well, no, this is, I mean, I know what you're talking about. This is, I mean, I guess you can kind of throw it in there. It has to do with actually, well, I mean, we just don't understand what consciousness is, which is another problem with AI that we could have a very long conversation about, and maybe we will at some point. So stay tuned as far as like more conversations on AI, because I have a feeling we're going to be doing different things with this for a good while.
I think it's a growing.
So let's talk about our. Oh, go ahead.
It was a growing threat.
Yeah,
it was basically closing.
So your initial thoughts on, or I should say your.
So our truth scale.
Yeah,
we
truth
gotta
scale
go on our
based
truth
off
scale.
of, yeah.
I always have to pull it up. I got to memorize this thing sometimes.
So it's proven, probable,
plausible, deniability, and preposterous.
Yeah,
that's our truth scale. It's a 5-point truth scale, and as far as it being a clear and present danger, AI is a clear and present danger. I don't think it is yet.
I would put it in the probable category.
Yeah, I would say probable or almost plausible.
The fundamental problem you have is I don't think there's going to be any reins put on it, because if you put reins on it, somebody else won't. And so it's just going to be an ever escalation. It's so powerful. Governments are not going to put reins on it, because there's always going to be a government out there that's not going to.
It's like you said, it's a death spiral.
Yep. So
if you don't work on it, somebody else is going to work on it, because it essentially could be a very powerful weapon of war.
Yep. In some ways, it's already being used.
It's almost Terminator-esque kind of.
Well, not even just that, but within the information war.
Yeah. Correct. Yes, as far as propaganda
goes, and creating things on social media to push things, a narrative in one direction. I mean, we're already seeing that with the wars that are going on right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Both in Ukraine and in the Middle East.
Yes. So if you enjoyed this episode, we're gonna close it up here, but
hit subscribe or like or whatever you need to do.
And then I believe it's Agape TV.
Yeah, Agape TV is where you might be watching this from.
Yeah, where you might be watching it from, but you can find.
You can get more stuff there.
Yes.
Yeah, and as well as on YouTube.
And I think our merch is also linked possibly there.
Yeah. So
and there's other.
And we'll have more of that coming in the future.
Always moving forward. Right. So as we close all of our shows, remember to keep seeking the truth, because the truth will set you free. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.